use a little help practicing your reading? Today we're going to read together, you can just follow along with me, a very fun book called Lost on Music Mountain by Sandra Bale, and that's actually me. This is the first book in a series about Music Mountain that I wrote for my kids when they were little. So let's begin. Now you follow along and you can say the words as I say them. Hope squealed as Uncle Steve swung her into bed. Are you going to sing my lullaby, Uncle Steve? Does a chicken have lips? Uncle Steve teased, playfully touching Hope's nose. Don't I always tuck my angel of hope in and sing her a lullaby? You know how much I love singing to you, almost as much as I love you. And then this one is actually a coloring book, so if you had the actual book, you could color in Hope's bed. Okay, let's continue. Read along with me. I love it when you sing to me, too, Uncle Steve, Hope said through a giggle, which was true. Uncle Steve had such a soothing voice. Listening to him sing made Hope feel very safe and peaceful. Sometimes she imagined she could see the notes falling out of his mouth. One time she even thought she felt the notes gently rocking her to sleep. And there's Hope and Uncle Steve. Uncle Steve, why do you have to be away so much? I wish you could sing to me every night, Hope said in her sweet 5-year-old voice. I wish that too, sweetie, but you know I have to sing to lots of other people too. They pay a lot of money to hear me sing. They look forward to my shows, and if I didn't show up, they would be sad, Uncle Steve explained. I know, but why do you have to be a singer? Hope asked as her big soft green eyes stared eagerly into his comforting brown eyes. See, it's okay if you stumble a little bit. Just go back and correct it. And there's some musical notes for you. Well, I don't have to sing. I really want to sing. I love music and singing. I would feel very bad if I couldn't sing anymore. God gave me a precious gift, and sharing it with my listeners is like giving them a gift. Understand? I think so, but why do you like music so much? And there's Uncle Steve singing. Because music is a very powerful thing. Are you still reading along with me? It can carry your mind anywhere you want to go. Through music, we are never alone. We can share our feelings with someone else, even if we never meet them face to face. Music gives wings to our dreams and carries hope. You mean music carries me? Hope asked with a look of surprise. There's some more musical notes for you. Well, if you allow it to, Uncle Steve laughed. But I meant the word hope. You know, faith or believing in something. Oh, I see, Hope said through a big yawn. All right, little angel of hope, close your eyes now. It's time for your lullaby, Uncle Steve said firmly. Then he began to sing. Be my melody, set your spirit free. Your heart is safe to be beyond where others see. So dream your way to me, just singing our melody. And there's Uncle Steve and Hope. Hope listened carefully to every note. She began to imagine the notes spilling from Uncle Steve's mouth. Bright, beautiful notes began dancing around Hope's head. The notes floated up and down with the sound of his voice. There's a bunch of notes that you could color. Big, bright, beautiful colors. The more Hope listened, melody, I believe in you, melody of my heart, the more the notes seemed to become real. They soared around the room, riding on the wind of Uncle Steve's breath. There's Uncle Steve's mouth, and the notes are coming out and swirling around Hope's head. Suddenly, Hope had a strange feeling. She looked down and realized that some of the notes had worked together to pick her up. She was now floating around the room, carried by the notes. She closed her eyes, afraid to look down. She was a little scared at first. Then her heart felt the warmth of the notes holding her. Never before had she felt so safe. Suddenly, something touched her feet. She opened her eyes and saw a white sheet with funny black lines on it. Hope looked closer and realized it was a gigantic piece of sheet music. See? The notes giggled as they flew away. Hope watched them float. She noticed the huge mountain before her. She saw a whole city that hung in midair, surrounded by the mountain. She and the sheet music were parts of that city. Where am I? She asked herself. See, there's music. Why, Music Mountain, of course, someone grumbled from behind her. Hope turned and saw what looked like a quarter note. He was Kool-Aid red with grumpy-looking eyes and a crooked mouth. Don't tell me they forgot to assign a tour guide again. Never send a hearer to do the work of a booker, he said with a cross look on his face. See, there's the quarter note. Hope looked at him with amazement. She knew what quarter notes looked like from her piano lessons. Yet the notes from her lessons were on paper, not standing there talking to her like this note was. She rubbed her eyes in disbelief. When she opened them, he was still standing there. There's Hope with them. Turn the page. You still reading with me? You got a name, Blondie? He asked angrily. Hope didn't know if she should answer the stranger. Mama had made it very clear that she should never talk to strangers. She had not ever seen anyone stranger than this person. She decided to play it smart and ran down the street of sheet music where she had been standing. There she goes, running away. That's what we should always do with strangers, right? We want to get away from them. Where are you going? The quarter note called after her. Hope didn't even answer him, though. She didn't even turn to look back. Hope ran until she was out of breath. When she stopped to rest, she looked around. Once again, she could not believe her eyes. In all her 5 years, she had never seen anything so beautiful or magical. I must be dreaming, she thought out loud. See? Music Mountain's a beautiful place. There was a roaring waterfall starting at the top of the mountain that flowed into a pool in the heart of the city next to where she stood. As the water fell, it changed from red to green, then blue. Notes floated down the waterfall and others danced and flew past her. She watched in wonder as a family of eighth notes led by a whole note came out of their guitar-shaped house. Pick up the tempo, Johnny Gibson, the whole note called to the smallest eighth note. There's the notes from the waterfall. Color really pretty colors. Solo today, please, please, please. Good symphony note. Not until you're a quarter note at least. Shuffle along now, dear. There's the whole note and the eighth note. The new notes moved about their business, not noticing the little girl standing in the middle of town, more fascinated than she was afraid. Hope didn't speak to any of them, obeying her mother's orders. As Hope noticed the lyrics library on the corner, she remembered her parents telling her to go to a place of business if she ever got lost on a crowded street. She hurried inside looking for a counter and someone who worked there. See, there's the lyrics library. Sorry, we got the birds singing for us in the background. I guess they like Music Mountain too. A blue-haired whole note waltzed over to Hope. May I help you? Yes, ma'am. It seems I am lost and need to find my way home, Hope explained. Oh dear, that is a problem. But don't you worry, honey, the whole note said in a sweet voice of a grandmother. What's your name, sweetie? See, there's Hope and there's the whole note. Hope's mother had taught her what to do in such a situation. My name is Hope Quest. My mother's name is Grace and my father is Soul. We live at 73 Desire Street, downtown Confidence. My phone number is 888-1408. Hope rattled off without even thinking about it. See, that's good information that you should know. You should know your parents' names and where you live and their phone number in case you ever get lost, so that you can tell somebody and have them help you. Some more notes for you. Oh my, the whole note said, sounding worried. We don't have any phones on Music Mountain, and I've never heard of the town of Confidence. I guess I should have someone give you a ride up to the Soprano supermarket. They get many lost children in there. They should know what to do. There's the Soprano supermarket. Yes, it's very important that you know what to do if you ever get lost. So when we finish practicing our reading here, you should talk to your parents if you don't know the information and have them work with you so you can know your phone number and your address and the things you would need to tell someone if you ever got lost. But let's continue reading. Read along with me now. Thank you, Miss. Sorry, my name's Wanda Wordy. Thank you, Miss Wordy, but Mama says not to take rides from strangers. I'd better walk. Would you mind telling me how to get there? Good girl. You should always mind your mama. Just follow the main sheet through the key neighborhoods. You'll pass the Baldwin's house. There's a sign out front. You can't miss it. Then around the corner, 3 measures past the high C key, at the very top of Music Mountain, you'll see the Soprano supermarket. See, there's a Baldwin piano. Remember, the instruments are houses and the people are notes. I think I can remember all that. Thank you so much. You're very welcome, Miss Hope. Good luck to you now. Hope followed Miss Wordy's directions. In no time, she was passing the Baldwin's house, which was black and white and shaped like a grand piano. She made her way through the key neighborhoods filled with every kind of instrument house you could imagine. Drums, guitars, horns, and even homes inside flutes were nestled along the sheet. Finally, she had reached the Soprano supermarket. See, there's some of the houses. There's a guitar and a drum. Hope approached the cashier as Mama had instructed her and explained she was lost. The pink hole note pointed to a desk where they could help her. Hope went to the counter where a green quarter note wearing sunglasses leaned with his arms folded. Excuse me, she began. Hey, little baby, what's up? He asked. He stood to attention, and a smile began to form on his face. There he is. See, I'm not quite sure how I got here, but I need to find my way back home, Hope explained. You don't look like you're from around here. You must be one of those word babes. Where's home? Asked the note wearing a name tag that read Wolfie. I don't know what you mean by a word babe, she said, wondering if she would ever get home. But you see, I am lost. She was trying not to get upset. Chill out now, honey. We'll get you back in the groove. I'll send a message to the Pitch Police Department. Sheriff Wurlitzer will hook you up. Might as well have a seat. He's more of a waltzer than a rocker. What does that mean? He's going to be a minute, sweetie. You might as well kick back. Catch my riff? Hope nodded half-heartedly and sat down. Soon an old bass clef came strolling in the door. He had the look of a wise town sheriff. His big black and white hat rested on his head, shading his pale blue body. This the girl, Wolfie? He asked in a deep yet comforting voice. Sorry, I've got to rearrange this. There we go. Yes, sir. Wolfie pointed to Hope. This is Miss Hope Quest. It's my pleasure to meet you, Miss Hope. I'm Sheriff Wurlitzer. I hear you are lost. And there's Sheriff Wurlitzer. Yes, sir, I am. My parents are Soul and Grace Quest. We live at 73 Desire Street, downtown Confidence. Our phone number is 888-1408. Hope recited once again. I see. How old are you, little lady? Why, I'm 5 years old. See, she's 5. Pretty smart for 5. You sure are a smart little girl, Sheriff Wurlitzer praised. How is it you ended up here on Music Mountain? Hope told him all about her Uncle Steve and their talk about music. She loved him. She told him how Uncle Steve was a singer and how it seemed he had sung her here. And she did love her Uncle Steve. See, again, if you make a mistake, you just go back and correct it. It's okay. We all do. And it's part of learning. Sheriff Wurlitzer began to laugh. Your uncle certainly helped you along, Hope, but you see, it was your connection with music that allowed you to dream your way here. You see, Music Mountain is inside the songs. Few people have enough hope to make it here. Looks like your parents picked the right name for you. Hope Quest, that's a jammin' name. I like it, Wolfie interrupted. Hope threw him a polite thank you and turned back to the sheriff. Some more notes that you could color. Make pretty and bright. If I dreamed my way here, how do I get home? Hope asked. Just as easily as you came here. Dream of home with all your heart, then jump into the Melody Waterfall. It will carry you home. There's the Melody Waterfall. Oh, I can do that, she chimed, feeling much more at ease. Now that you made it here once, you can come back and visit anytime you want, as long as you never stop believing. Do you remember that, okay? Yes, sir, I'll remember. Thank you, she called, making her way to the door. My pleasure, darling, Sheriff Wurlitzer called after her. Mine too, baby. You be careful now. Come back and see us. Catch you later, Wolfie said. He waved his hand before he could help it. Thanks for your help, Wolfie. Bye now. No sweat, baby, Wolfie called after her. There's Hope waving goodbye. Quick as a wink, Hope was standing at the edge of the Melody Waterfall. She squeezed her eyes tightly and dreamed with all her heart of being home. Then, without a doubt, she jumped. The water splashed up and hit her face. As she started to wipe her eyes, to her surprise, they weren't wet. She looked down to see her warm, note-covered blanket wrapped over her body. How she loved to be wrapped in her beloved blankie. Uncle Steve had it made specially. Uncle Steve had it specially made just for Hope. See, sometimes you gotta slow down. If you go too fast, then you're messing up. It felt so good to be back in her bed. The house was quiet and the sun just started to rise. It was only a dream, she thought to herself sadly. Just then she noticed that her feet felt a little damp. Or was it, she wondered. And there is her note-covered blanket. I really hope you enjoyed our visit to Music Mountain. And just remember that this is the first book in a series. So if you would like to go back and visit again and see what Hope does on her next adventure, there is another book. The second book is called Return to Music Mountain. And it is also by me, Sandra Bale. So if you want to find out what happens next with Hope, your parents can go to Amazon and just type in my name and all my books will come up. And they can order Return to Music Mountain so you can find out what happens next. Also, if you want this book so that you can color in the pictures yourself, then you could also have your parents order that one for you. It's on Amazon as well. Once again, I am Sandra Bale, and I really enjoyed reading with you today. I hope you enjoyed our trip as much as I did. Thank you so much for reading along with me. Have a great day.